to the Centre for New Writing, and I'm Corinne Fowler. I'm Director of the Centre for New Writing, and one of the Deputy Directors is sitting there in the black shirt, Harry Whitehead. The Centre for New Writing runs a regular programme of free events, and we'll announce our new programme shortly, but this is the last one of the semester. There'll be a drinks reception after this, around just towards 6 o'clock, so please do stay for the drinks reception, free drinks reception. This event is on Dalit Literature, is co-organised by the Centre, but with the Centre for Postcolonial Studies at Nottingham, Trent University, and also the University of Paul-Valéry Montpellier. So I'm going to introduce the speakers, and I'll start at this end of the table. So Judith, at the end of the table with the green scarf, for those of you who don't know her, is one of the co-organisers of the conference on Dalit Literature, which has taken place yesterday and the day before. And she lectures at the Paul-Valéry University in Montpellier. Then sitting next to her we've got Nicole Tiara. She's a co-organiser of the conference, and she lectures at Nottingham Trent University. Then we have AJ Navaria. He was one of the conference keynote speakers. He's described as a rising star in the literary world. He's authored a novel and 2 collections of short stories, and Unclaimed Terrain, which we have here, is a short story collection translated into English by Laura, who I'll introduce in a moment. But he's won lots of literary prizes and awards, and he is an assistant professor in Hindi ethics in Delhi. Laura Bruick is associate professor of Indian literature at Northwest University, and she is the translator of AJ's short story collection, Unclaimed Terrain. And K. Satyana Rayana was also a keynote speaker at the conference. He's an associate professor in the Department of Cultural Studies in Hyderabad, and he specialises in cultural studies, Dalit literature, of course, literary history, and he was active in the student union movement during the 1990s and was the founder general secretary of the Forum for Caste Annihilation, and he was magazine editor of a small magazine too. And he co-edited 2 anthologies of South Indian Dalit writing, No Alphabet in Sight, 2011, and Steel Nibs Are Sprouting, 2013. And he's also co-edited a forthcoming volume with Duke University Press, Dalit Studies, New Perspectives on South Asian History and Society. Now, I'm very sorry that I haven't been able to be at the conference, but I was examining a thesis, which is, unfortunately, I couldn't get out of that. But I have had a chance to read all the abstracts and talk to the conference organisers, and they told me that so far my impressions are generally correct, that there has been a very wide-ranging discussion of many aspects of Dalit literature, Dalit literature from various contexts as well. So ancient and contemporary, urban and rural, the Punjabi context, Dalit literature from Kerala, Dalit literature from Mumbai, and so on. And there's been a lot of discussion around the ethics of translating Dalit literature and the international profile of Dalit literature, as well as other topics such as the challenges that Dalit literature poses to secularity, to modernity, to notions of good and bad writing and dominant notions of aesthetic value, and so on. There have been papers about autobiography as a literary form, Dalit writing for children, Dalit feminist writing. So I think you've got an idea of the wide-ranging nature of the discussion. Now, just to talk about the format, I'm going to hand over to Nicole for a moment to explain what the Dalit Literature Network is, and to tell you a bit more about the context. But after that, we're going to hand over to Satya for a 15-minute reading in Hindi, which will be followed by the translation. And then there'll be questions from the panel, a short discussion, and then there'll be a chance for questions from the floor. So I hope you'll join me in welcoming the panel before I hand over to Nicole, and just thank you very much, everybody, for coming.